And what is good, y'all? Welcome back to the page. Welcome back to my director Z and my Luzad. I am Luis Zapatero, and today we are going to talk about. Well, I've been to the movies a few times this week, and I want to talk about some reviews. The Gorge I've seen recently. I saw Companion and Hard Eyes. Those are going to get whole videos, as well as Cuckoo and Love Hurts. But today I'm going to talk about, you know, the the movie not everyone is seeing, but it's the latest MCU installation, and I used to talk about stuff like that, and I'm trying to get back on track. So here we go. Captain America: Brave New World, and if you haven't seen it, obviously spoilers ahead. So turn back now if you haven't seen it yet. Overall, I think the reshoots and the rewrites did not help this movie. Whether or not I liked it, I'm kind of really at the center. I did not enjoy it as much as I wanted to. My expectations were already really low considering all the other MCU movies, but this one, it still only gets like a 6 out of 10 for me. It's not terrible. Like a lot of people are going like, "Oh, this sucks. This is the worst." Blah, 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 blah. No, I'm not like trying to say like this is shit. It's not even like a good step in the right direction. If I'm being honest, it's okay. I feel like there was a lot of shit sidelined, like the whole Serpent Society thing. There was a whole Sabra bullshit. Well, let's just get into it. Right now, the only pros I have are like two, and the cons are like five. So that's why like it was a real factor into me giving this. But I guess maybe I'm a little biased. I don't know. This is the score I even gave it on Letterboxd. Well, it's going to. So anyway, let's go over some of the pros and cons. One of the pros is I guess you know Cap Sam Wilson is has a new suit. I guess that's pretty cool. It's not the best, but vibranium wings is pretty cool. That's the only reason he's able to have the fight in the third act, if we're being honest. But the whole story of him stopping an adamantium transfer in Mexico with Serpent Society, Sidewinder Giancarlo's role was, very the Dark Knight series of like the first villain that shows up, where like Batman stops him, and then later like Scarecrow in the beginning of the Dark Knight. Sidewinder just gets stopped, gets arrested. The adamantium is safe, and then that's a whole thing about that side story that I want to talk about too. That's the only other pro here. Adamantium is now in the MCU, and for those of you who don't know, adamantium makes up a bunch of things, especially certain freaking Claude character that we know and love from the X-Men. But yeah, this thing's been around since the Eternals, and it's just been sticking out of the Indian Ocean. I'm glad they're actually acknowledging that, but also it puts America in a very strange position. Vibranium is from an isolationist colony and country of Wakanda, so adamantium being in the hands of just in the ocean kind of puts America in a different position now that adamantium is now proven and quoted to be the strongest metal on Earth now, and it's more versatile and they can do much more with it. So let's see where that goes. This is pretty much where the pros end, unfortunately. There's not a lot in this movie. So if you're looking for a lot of pros or whatever, just don't go into this. You know. Another con is that Falcon, I believe Joaquin Torres is very underutilized. I really like Danny Ramirez. I really like him as an actor, but that Falcon is kind of only in like one or three scenes I can even remember. But like, I hope he does get like not like a solo thing, but I hope he does get like attached to some team or he gets some kind of role later. I know we're gonna see Cap again. Obviously, he's fucking Captain America. But yeah. And then the whole story with adamantium, and there's like a whole like region debacle of who owns it with India and Japan and other countries. And now Harrison Ford is Thaddeus Ross, Thunderbolt Ross is now president. Uh, the whole subplot with like the Serpent Society and then Samuel Stearns, the leader, it just gets lost. The diaspora just kind of changes. It's like I feel like Falcon could have been like anyone, even like Bucky or something. Like the movie is basically Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like an hour and a half. It's stretched out. So yeah, to me, Falcon was underutilized. I feel like it could have been anyone, and that's I only say that because it feels like that spot could have been filled by any other person, and it would have been completely fine. There would have been anything different. Con number two is the Sabra thing. I don't get why they had to shoehorn this bitch just because of everything that's going on with Gaza and Israel and like, oh, we have to put an Israeli character. No, you fucking don't. Especially when she's not even there for like a minute and a half more in the movie. Like, yeah, she's introduced as like Ross's like special like caretaker or does things or whatever. And then she comes in that one fight scene, and I'm like, this literally could have been anyone. She's never even called Sabra or her fucking persona. It could have been anyone. It didn't even have to be an Israeli character. There was nothing significant about the culture or picking who this is. It was such a nothing fucking. Oh, please give us attention. Please like us. We put an Israeli character in there. We want to adhere to you. Like, fuck off. Just fuck off. This character did nothing. It added nothing, and it's a big fucking nothing. Okay, Sabra didn't have to be in this movie. Just like the whole. That's another thing. That's a whole thing that pisses me off about this. This is supposed to be a Captain America movie. Why are we getting a Hulk sequel shoehorned into it? It should have just been Serpent Society, Adamantium, Captain America. That's it. I don't want to see the leader or Red Hulk in this fucking movie, but we do, and that's why it's still a con later, because it makes no sense. Why not just give us a Hulk movie? The fuck? And then the whole Isaiah Bradley thing. Okay. What I don't get is you spent Falcon and Winter Soldier, giving this guy story so that Sam could understand the importance of the symbol of Captain America and what America really thinks of, the role. And then you have him assassinate the president because he's under some kind of mind control thing from Samuel Stearns, aka the leader. The story takes a back seat for most of the time. Sam only visits him once in jail, and yeah, of course he's not there for very long. But why did it have to be him? It felt like another thing. It felt like it could have been anyone. The significance of the role, if anyone could play that role, the significance is just immediately taken out. It's a MacGuffin. Anybody or anything could have been there. It could have been a purple platypus person assassinating the president, and it would have had more story impact. But what I'm saying is that it's not his fault. The actor playing Isaiah Bradley does a very good job. Why wasn't Elijah Bradley known or anywhere around the fact that his grandfather was in jail again after the whole 30-year debacle of him being Captain America, and he just ends up locked in jail for 3 decades? His grandson's not going to say shit about that? He's not going to do anything? That kid also may or may not have super soldier blood inside him. And he might be Patriot in the Young Avenger. But we don't get any of that. That's canceled. Seth Rollins and all the other characters that was supposed to be Serpent Society, also sidelined. Canceled. So, I'm not saying that this Isaiah Bradley story should have been sidelined, but it's it feels like it feels like anyone could have assassinated the president that day. It could have been Bucky. But yeah, it had to be Isaiah Bradley. I don't get it. It's oh, well, he's one of the people Samuel Stearns, the leader. Well, that's another thing. The leader didn't have to be the villain. That's another con I had here. The leader didn't even get mentioned by his name once. Just mostly played a shadow role, fucking calling and doing the intercom the whole time. And the reveal was stupid. I get they wanted to do practical effects and make it look bumpy, but it looks nothing like what we were promised or what it looked like before. And that's, again, why they did the reshoots, I guess. Even Tim Blake Nelson was quoted saying, I wanted to do practical effects instead of having some big polka dot fucking suit. I was like, I would have rather you did the polka dot suit. The Planet of the Apes movies did great with polka dot suits. And so did the Avatar movies, you fucking ass. I'm not saying he's dumb for it. I like that he's into practical effects. That's fine. But the whole Samuel Stearns leader thing, again, the role held no significance. It could have been some other genius fucking intellect guy. It's the same thing like Flag Smasher disappointed me for Falcon and Winter Soldier. If the villain could be anybody, it's not an impactful or good villain. If the villain just could have been anyone with a mask or anyone from the comics that could have throw at a dartboard, it's not good. The villain is just so one-dimensional and is barely in the fucking movie, so I don't even know why he was in there. The leader could have held more significance and more story if it was after Bruce Banner, if it was actually going after the Hulk. And then, of course, the Red Hulk thing, which would have been better if we had known it just from the theaters, but they just had to reveal that part. It was so stupid. I hate that trailers do that now. They just straight up reveal the villain and straight up show everything that's supposed to be in the movie, and the surprise is less impactful. But what's dumb about this is that he barely shows up for a minute and a half, destroys the White House, absolutely destroys Captain America, only through one loophole of the last hit of one piece of vibranium wing getting into his ribcage, being kicked in. He still doesn't die. And then they have to do the whole sun's getting real low for him, and a fucking rose petal from the cherry blossoms lands on his hands, and he thinks of Betty. And then there was the whole shoehorn Betty thing at the end. That's the thing. if there wasn't this stupid gamma radiation Hulk story shoehorned into this movie, it could have been better. But no, I felt like I was watching an unofficial Hulk sequel in a Captain America sequel, and it felt dumb. I did not come to see a Captain America movie for that. Like, yeah, okay, maybe I did come to see Red Hulk because that's what the trailer said. I didn't come to watch him fight for a minute and a half and calm down and get locked up again. I want to see more. And then Stearns gets locked up again, I guess, and then he talks about the multiverse incursions and that. What's gonna happen when you have to fight for this world? Like, okay, we get it, the multiverse. It's being teased like a big dick in our face. Like, okay, dude, just like let's get on with it, man. At this point, the dick right here, the erection's just gonna go limp, like right in front of us. Like, we get it. There's a multiverse battle coming, secret wars, yada yada yada. Dimensions are gonna die. Some worlds are going to live. Blah blah blah. But I feel like this movie just doesn't really hold a significant role. Didn't really have to happen, as well as the story didn't have to be what it was. It could have been anything else. But whatever. That's just my opinion. That's why, for me, it only gets a 6 out of 10. I really wanted to give it like a 7 or 7.5. I would have even given it a 5 if I wasn't so generous and biased to Marvel movies. But I really have to throw that part of me away and step it aside because this movie was just not great. It's not terrible like people are saying. It's not the worst MCU movie, but it is definitely the worst Cap movie. Of all the movies, of all, Civil War, Winter Soldier, and First Avenger, this one is definitely the worst. It didn't need to happen. The only thing that makes this required viewing is that, yeah, Cap has a new vibranium suit and there's adamantium. That's it. And then the fact that you know that there's a Red Hulk or a leader later in the thing will probably hold no significance whatsoever unless Hulk or She-Hulk gets involved. But right now, She-Hulk's fucking with Daredevil or some shit. I don't know what's happening. The MCU's just kind of, a flip of the coin in the air right now. Whether it's gonna Fantastic Four looks awesome, but this was not what I was expecting, and it's not great. Like I said, it's not bad, but it's not good either. Anyway, thank y'all for watching, and this has been Director Z. Please subscribe and watch some other of my videos, and don't forget to leave a like or comment and share if you liked it. And yeah, see you in the next one.